This video, we're going to talk about how to start germinating your seeds when you want to put those little plants in a hydroponic system. Hydroponics uses a unique material called rock wool that I have pictured, that I have in my hand right here. This is actually a rock mineral that's been melted and heated and spun into fibers to make these cubes. And the reason why we use rock wool, it lets us put a seed in each of these holes, and then after the seed germinates, we can cut with scissors, just regular scissors, and have individual cubes, each with its own little plant that we would put in the hydroponics system. And this holds the seeds and holds the plant in place so it doesn't float away in our hydroponic system. So that's what we're going to be using today. Now, hydroponics with rock wool, we have to soak it for about 15 to 30 minutes. As you can see here, I've been soaking this in just water, and that's to reduce the pH, which is a concentration of hydrogen ions. And I checked the pH of this water after soaking for about 15 minutes. It was pH 7. Well, that tells me that the pH of the rock wool is a little higher than plants like it. They like a pH of 6 to 6.5. So we're using the water to remove some of those hydrogen ions so that the plants will be happier and not fussy at that pH. Now I'm going to move my rock wool that I've been soaking in water. I'm going to move it to a tray to let my seeds germinate in. It could be any kind of tray. This particular tray is a greenhouse flat with drain holes in the bottom, which helps from water to drain out so we don't flood everything too much. But I've got a hydroponic system that holds 48 plants. Well, this is 10 holes right here, so that means I've got 50. But the thing is, that gives me 2 extra. But sometimes you don't get all the seeds to germinate. So to make sure I have 48 plants, I've got an extra 10 cubes right here that we're going to plant just to make sure we end up with 48 plants that we can transplant into our hydroponic system. So now we are ready to put our seeds into our rock wool cubes. I have 2 of my students here, Abby and Shay, who are going to help me plant the lettuce seeds into the rock wool. We have 2 different kinds of seeds. We have Butter Crunch, and we have a gourmet blend of 5 different varieties. And they're going to put 1 seed in each hole in each rock wool cube.
Let's do it. Good job.
And it looks like they're using tweezers. Is that standard, or can you plant them with your fingers?
If you have nimble fingers, you can plant with your fingers. But if you have big fat fingers like me, I'm going to need to use tweezers. Now, if you happen to get 2 seeds in a single cube, not a big problem. You'll just thin and pull out one of those little seedlings so you have only 1 seedling per cube before you transfer it into the hydroponic system. And if you're concerned about poor germination, you could put 2 seeds in each cube to make sure, as long as you get more than 50% germination, most likely you'll have enough seedlings to put into your hydroponic system. But you will need to pull out any extra seedlings so you have only 1 seedling per cube. Now, lettuce is not the only plant you can grow hydroponically. You can do kale, arugula, carrots. Yes, you can do a carrot in certain hydroponic systems. You can also do tomatoes. You can do peppers. It just really depends on the type of hydroponic system you're using as to what plants you can grow in it. This particular system we're going to use is really limited to plants that only get about 12 inches tall. So lettuce is an ideal crop for the hydroponic system we're going to use. Good. So we planted 60 seeds. Hopefully we'll get at least 48 out of those 60. Now we're not done yet. We have to cover them up. This is a clear plastic dome because we want high humidity inside this planting tray. Okay, so we have high humidity. We also have a misting bottle because once a day we need to come in and mist because we need to keep this rock wool soaked, fully saturated with water for the entire week. It will take 1 week for these lettuce seeds to germinate. And then with the particular hydroponic system we're using, we're going to let them grow an additional week before we actually do the transplanting. But other hydroponic systems, you can transfer it as soon as they germinate. So we put it there, and if you're in a high sunlight area like we are here in the greenhouse, I will also put a cardboard on top of this because I don't want to cook my seeds by having a hothouse, a miniature hothouse here. So, but if it's not in direct sun, plastic dome, or if you don't have a plastic dome, just use saran wrap, cover it up, and that'll give you the high humidity you need.